welcome back everybody, and I hope you're enjoying all of the episodes here on router work and how to make a sign with a router. But now this episode, we pretty much got all of our router work done, our sanding done, for now anyway, with our sanding. On the last episode, you seen how we cut everything off, docked the corners, and then routered the edges with the small Roman Ogie bit. Now, anybody from the last episode, if you watched, if you take notice to the sign right now, the sign looks like you got a yellow cast to it instead of the nice white pine that it was. Well, there's a reason for that, and I'm going to explain that now. So, basically what I went ahead and done is with some shellac, I shellacked everything over, especially down in here where we're going to be painting, because we're not going to be using any primer like you would if you're painting something. You'd use primer before you paint. What I've done is use the shellac, because when you're painting you get knots like this, for example, in the wood, and when you're painting stuff and got knots in the wood, it'll bleed through the paint, so you need to seal that. And also we want to try to get the letters a nice deep dark color that we're going with, and instead of using white primer and then priming everything, I went with the shellac. And also with the shellac, as we're painting in the letters, we're going to get paint on the outside edges, which won't hurt because the shellac is protecting the wood. And then once everything is all painted and once it's all dried, then we can go over with the sander, take the shellac off, which won't take very much with the 220 grit sandpaper, bring it back to the nice white pine, and then that'll also take out on top of the wood here the excess paint. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing Hunter's Room in green. Minecraft is going to be in a blue, and then the outer edge here where this Roman Ogie is, that's going to be red, because his favorite colors are red, blue, and green. And then we're going to be using stain, which I got here, which is provincial. It's called a provincial stain, and that's going to be used for the effect of wooden handles on the weapons. That's in Minecraft. And I also got the other paint that now you're going to see. I got a lot of stuff here in front of me. I'm pretty much going to end up using some of everything that's here. This is our sparkles. So what I'm going to be doing for the weapons part of the signs, which is here, that's going to be done, and it's going to look like a diamond blue. And I got this light color blue here, which I'm actually going to add a little bit of white to it to make it a little lighter. And then I'm going to be mixing, this is a light blue sparkles, I'll be mixing that into paint, and also silver sparkles. I'll be mixing that into paint, and that's going to give it basically that's going to give it the effect of diamonds. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to mix up the paint that we need to do the weapons. That way you can see how it's going to be done. So I got my mixing bowl here. I'm going to move this to one side. So I got my mixing bowl here, just a little spoon, and I got this this syringe that's basically a ½ ounce and 1 ounce. So that's what I'm going to be using for mixing me paint. And again, this is an acrylic, and it's called Paradise Blue. And I'm going to use 1 ounce of this. I got the, you're also going to want some water just to clean off your the tip of the, and this is just your this is just a baking syringe actually. So that's the Paradise Blue, and this is just a white, and I'm only going to use like I said, I'm going to use about a ½ ounce of this because I don't want that much lighter than this, because that's almost the color that I want. Just want to make sure you get all of the paint out because you don't want it to dry in there. Now, for the sparkles, I just got some measuring spoons here, and this one is a 1/4 cup. Now, when you put the sparkles in there and starts mixing them together, you're really not going to see a whole lot of it until the paint actually dries. And when the paint dries, that's when you'll see it. So I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the light blue sparkles. Make sure it gets it all off. And then we're going to go with the silver sparkles. And we'll use a 1/4 cup of silver sparkles. Just take that and mix it all around. As I said, the sparkles is going to disappear, but when the paint dries, the sparkles will come out in it. As you can see, it's going a little lighter too, so. Alright, again, this is an acrylic paint. I'm going to give it a good mix, make sure that it's mixed in good. You won't see the paint sparkling with this mixed in here like this. You won't see it until the paint dries. You should be able to see that the paint got a rough look to it. Instead of that real nice milky look. Now when you're using with the shellac to shellac everything over, like I told you I done, you want to make sure you got gloves on your hands, because you never know, you could get a rash or you could be allergic to it or something, so it's nice to wear rubber gloves. But all I done was basically, was just took a rag, a small piece of rag, shake the shellac up good, and just dip the corner of the rag in the shellac and just rub it down in the grooves, right? Just rub it all down in the grooves, make sure it's good. I went ahead and done it because it takes probably maybe a half hour or so for the shellac to dry in good. And then I just went over the whole thing and even the edges. So now we're going to paint in the weapons. My brush seems dry for some. Oh no, he's okay. I'm going to wet him now. I can see the sparkles in the water from when I mixed up the paint that come off the spoon. Now you just want to figure out what you want painted and what you don't want painted. Now you may have to give this 2 coats. And the paint will look a little lumpy and everything, but that'll flatten out a bit as it dries. And don't be afraid to use a lot of paint because, like I said, anything that comes out over the edges, you're going to be able to sand it off anyway. I'm not a very steady hand, so now I'm going down across here like that, and I'll show you in a second, because the top of the axe right here is actually going to be stained with wood stain, because that's going to be part of the handle, showing that the handle goes right up through the weapon. And obviously we got more paint mix than we need, but what you can do is put it in a little sealed container, a little jar or something, and keep it for another project. At least then you'll already have it mixed. And when you go to do the second coat, before you do, if you see that there's not enough sparkles in the paint that you'd like, before you apply a second coat, add more sparkles to the paint. Sorry about the noise. I don't have a soundproof shop. And you want to try to follow that line across here from the going across where the handle is going to be. Try to get the paint there as straight as you can. I can see the sparkles in the paint there now as that's drying. Just gotta have patience. When you get going with one color, you do everything. You do everything that one color. That way then, as you're going, Now, if anyone is familiar with the video game Minecraft and familiar with the weapons in Minecraft, or the tools, or whatever you want to call them, it's a kids game. My grandson plays it a lot. Actually, he's a big fan. The first Minecraft sign I made was for my grandson. So right down on the end of the handle, there's also a diamond spot. So we're just going to put a little bit down there. Try to have the effect as close to what it is as possible, but you can also play with it and make up stuff on your own. After all, it is your project, and make your project fun, enjoy it. Don't be afraid to do something different or add a different detail. Something might come in your mind. Use your imagination. Now, we're almost finished with the blue. For the first coat anyway. I probably will be giving it a second coat. Just got to wait for it to dry and see. But with it shellacked over, everything is, yeah, I can see the sparkles, see? I can see them there now. They're going to be hard to see at first. So, pretty much when you're painting, that's how it's done. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do the wood stain of the handles so you can see how that's done. But regards of painting the lettering, it's all the same way, done the same way. If you want to add sparkles into the lettering, that's entirely up to yourself. Like I said, use your own imagination. Have fun with it. So now we're going to do the stain, and that's done with a little brush. Now with stain, again, be nice. The only thing is we're using our brush. We're not going to be using a rag. We're going to be using our brush. But I still got to stir it up, because with stain is made from clay. And it chunks up down in the bottom, and you got to make sure that you get the full color of the stain, you need to stir it up good. Sometimes shaking it just don't do it. So now I'm going to get a smaller brush for that, because I got to be more precise. I think this is the one I used last time. And if you drip it on your workpiece, there's no big there's no big deal if you drip it on your workpiece, because you are going to be sanding again, but try not to. And don't saturate your brush. You only need a little tiny bit on your brush, because stain goes a long ways. And I'm not using real dark stain, because I want to be able to I want the wood grain to show through. And try not to get the stain out on the paint too much. You can do this with brown paint if you wanted to, or paint it some other hell, but I'm just doing it so that when it dries, because at the end of the day we all know that weapons basically got wooden handles, and tools mostly got wooden handles. Well, they used to. But it gives that better effect. And when you dip your brush down in the stain, don't start right by the paint, because once your brush hits it, the stain is going to come right off the brush and it'll all run out on your paint. As you can see, I'm just dabbing the brush in the stain, just enough to get a little bit on the brush. It makes these projects more enjoyable too when you know you're giving it to a loved one or a close family friend or something like that. Yeah, and with the lettering, like I said, the lettering is pretty much the same. It's all the same routine. And there we go. So that's all of that done. Now we won't be doing a second coat of stain. Now, yeah, see, I can see the sparkles in the paint. On the second coat, I might put a few more sparkles in it because they're not so the sparkles are not so prominent as I'd like to have it. But anyway, for now, as you can see, this is how we're started. Now, like I said, painting in the letters, same steps, depending on the color you want. And we're going to be doing the green, and then the other color blue, the darker color blue for the Minecraft. And then I'm going to be doing this red on this outside edge. And then once that's all done and it's all dry and you're happy with everything, then I'm going to be showing you a clear coat that I use, and it's going to get sprayed on. So I'll be spraying the clear coat on, and you got an option also with the clear coat, which it takes a little bit of trial and error, but where I've been doing it for a while, some projects I put sparkles in the clear coat, like I've done for them signs that if you see the signs that I done in the custom spray painting that had sparkles mixed in the paint and the clear coat. So, but this here won't be getting that. It'll just be getting the clear coat, and it's going to be sprayed. So you'll be getting to see how that's done. Anyway, leave a comment, hit a like, subscribe. That'd be great. I really appreciate it. Everybody stay safe. I hope everybody's doing good. And thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.